What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be going over a quarterback football IQ quiz. So we're going to be showing 3 different pre-snap looks for quarterbacks. We're going to ask you guys how you can read the coverage, some different questions about that coverage. I'm going to give you a chance to answer the questions, and then we'll break it down and explain it. So I hope this video helps you guys out. Hope it could teach you a few new things about football IQ. But also, fellas, if you're a QB and you guys would like to train with us this offseason, we're going to be traveling out to 15 different states across the country for 2-day long QB and wide receiver training camps. Next up on our camp tour, we'll be coming out to San Francisco. That camp is completely sold out. But then we'll be coming out to Orlando, Florida, Phoenix, Arizona. That's a new addition. Then Charlotte, Dallas, the DMV, St. Louis, Honolulu, Boston, Cleveland, Austin, Seattle, Newark, Denver, and Los Angeles, California. So 2 days of work, 8 hours total, fellas. So check out that very first link below if you're interested. Let's get started with this video. So now, first things first here, we're going to be talking about this trips concept, or like this bunch concept to the left. So they motion this guy across, and they're going to be working an outside zone concept. So now, outside zone, what the play concept is going to be is you got this wide receiver running a bubble screen, and we have these 2 wide receivers out blocking, and they're going to be working an RPO. So if we have this outside zone RPO versus this coverage, who do you guys think? There's going to be a 2-part question. Who is your read key defender? Who is your read key defender for the run portion of this? And do we like the bubble screen versus this coverage from the defense? Okay, so you guys can go ahead and pause the video. That's how this quiz kind of format works. I'm going to give you guys a chance to pause the video, think about your answer, and then we'll break it down. So you guys can go ahead and pause the video and think about it for a second. All right, let's break this thing down. So if we have this outside zone RPO, obviously, number one thing that we want to identify as a quarterback is the front. I come up to the line of scrimmage, I want to identify if it's a 4-3, if it's a 4-4, whatever it might be. So it looks like it's a 4-3 concept. This is probably the best, I would say, front to work RPOs against, right? So this would be my Mike backer. I have 2 high safeties. Looks like it's like maybe a cover 4 situation. This is the Will, that's the Mike, that's the same, right? So your read key defender on the outside zone portion of this would be the defensive end on the left. Obviously, if he crashes down with his shoulders, we pull the ball and we could either run it or we could either throw it to this bubble screen. Now, if this defensive end stays square, we could just hand the ball off, let my guy go run, and we got numbers. But since there is a bubble screen option into this, I don't even necessarily, in some cases, I don't even necessarily have to worry about this defensive end if we have numbers on the bubble screen. So I'm going to play this full speed, and then I'm going to explain what I mean by that. So this quarterback here, defensive end stays square, but he still throws it, right? Now, the reason why he still throws this thing is because we love the bubble screen pre-snap. Honest to God, he probably didn't even have to do this fake back here. We could have just thrown the bubble screen right away. The RPO game, fellas, is all about numbers. It's a numbers game. It's how many people are stacking the box, how many guys do they have in the box, how many guys do they have out of the box, right? So that's why I love this against cover 4, or against a 4-3 cover 4, I should say, because it's very easy to isolate defenders and understand who's in the box and who's not. Because now we got 3 guys to the outside, right? How many guys do they have in the outside block or playing defense? You got the Will, you got the corner, and then you have the safety who's about 10 yards away, right? So I'm pretty confident that we could get a hat on this guy, and my guy's out on a bubble screen with the safety who's 10 yards away. I love those odds because worst case scenario, I'm probably going to pick up 12 yards, and that's a first down, and that moves the sticks. Right now, how this can all change is if this Mike backer starts walking out a little bit. So then, if this Mike backer's wider, this Will's wider, corners maybe a little bit wider, and they're outside of the box, that means that it is 3-on-3, or maybe essentially 3-on-4. I don't like those numbers, but here's the deal. Now I can run the ball. Because now, how many people do they have in the box? They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This 5th guy is going to be wrong in whatever decision that he does. If he crashes down, quarterback can pull it. If he stays home, let's say he stays home like he did. I hand the ball off. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys to block how many? He's out of the play, remember. I got 5 guys to block 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are pretty good numbers, and that means that I could get my running back into the secondary with the safety who's about 10 yards away, and I love those odds. RPO is all about a numbers game, fellas, so make sure that we understand that. If you guys said that this would be your read key defender, and then if you guys said that we love the bubble screen because there's only 2 guys out here to defend it, you would be 100% correct in this situation. So let's play this full speed. Great job by Jones making the right read, getting that ball to his his playmaker, and then all it comes down to, fellas, is wide receivers being able to block. Okay, so now, this next example here, we're going to be going over a play concept, and we're going to ask who your read key defender would be against this specific coverage. So what we have here is we're going to be doing a dagger concept. This is going to be like kind of the tight end stays in and blocks on this as well, fellas, but this looks like it's a trips situation. This tight end stays in to block. So what the play concept would be is we have a box corner at the bottom of the screen, or at the top of the screen, excuse me, and then we have this slot wide receiver, this is Tyreek Hill, running a seam, and then we have this outside wide receiver running a 12 to 15-yard dig. So I want to ask you guys, against this specific coverage, what is this coverage, number one? I'm going to ask you guys this. So what coverage do you think this is? And then, who is your read key defender? What defender are you looking at as a quarterback versus this specific type of play? So you guys go ahead and pause the video and think about what your answer would be. So go ahead and pause the video. All right, let's break this thing down. So I'm going to play this full speed first. This play doesn't end up working. But pre-snap, if you guys said that this was probably cover 4, you would be correct. Cover 6 probably would have been correct as well, because how do you know pre-snap that this guy's going to run with him, and it almost turns into like a man coverage, cover 4 type thing where he's in man, he's on an island out there. But if you said cover 4, if you said cover 6 where one side of the field is 2, one side of the field is 4, that would be correct. Now, I mainly want to focus on the read key, right? Because this is the side of the field that we're working, the cover 4 side. If you said your read key was this safety, you would be correct. Now, here's the thing, and this is where kind of the wide receivers being on the same page as the quarterback applies. So into his drop to us here, we see that it's that same type of look that we saw earlier. It's a 4-3, and it looks like cover 4. Right? So 4-3, cover 4. We got the Mike backer right here. Mike backer was walking down like he was going to show blitz, and then he ends up bailing out. Now, the Mike is the guy who screws up this entire play. Maybe Tua didn't see him start to bail out into coverage. He disguised the blitz well. Maybe the 49ers like to blitz out of that specific look. There are a lot of factors that play into this. But maybe Tua didn't see him, right? He catches the snap. He drops back. He gets his eyes to the safety. So now, we are reading, if this safety runs with the seam, which usually he most likely will. I've thrown a lot of daggers. I've ran a lot of daggers. And usually that safety runs. There are times where he doesn't. There are times where he gets a little greedy and sits flat-footed, and we got that seam over the top. But if he even starts to backpedal, and especially if he turns and runs, we have that dig from the outside. Now, that tight end, like I told you, he stays in and blocks. He chips and then jumps out into the flat. So now, this is where the read gets a little bit funky, right? This is where we're kind of trying to read the Mike backer, and why I don't necessarily love this from like a tight formation. But again, we'll keep talking through it. We'll keep working through it. When this seam goes through and that safety clears, we obviously have this dig, but we have to hit that dig either right now or we have to hit that dig second window. Right? Now, it's on the wide receiver and the quarterback to be on the same page. Personally, right here, I would have liked Tua throws this thing, but he anticipates it into the second window. I personally would have liked this wide receiver to throttle down in the first window, and then we hit this thing in the first window. And if that outside backer jumps it, then we could just take the flat right now. But honestly, it's one of those things, kind of tricky. You got to make sure that you're on the same page as your wide receiver. But the dig is essentially there. It's just what window are we going to hit it? This Mike backer drops. He takes away the first window. That's when we anticipate and throw to the second window. But you have to make sure that we see this, and this is something that we see post-snap, right? This is a post-snap read. We talk a lot about pre-snap reads. This is my read pre-snap. He runs at the same. Okay, cool. Now I'm throwing this dig. Mike backer drops into the first window. I got that second window throw. Mike backer just drops, but I got him in the first window. Outside backer sits in the first window. Then I can pop my eyes down to the flat on that like kind of chip delayed block. So, fellas, you just have to understand having a good pre-snap process. You got to make sure when you're watching film, you are going through these things as well on your own time. Let's play this thing again, full speed. Again, right read, safety vacated out of there, but we got to make sure that we are on the same page of my wide receiver in terms of what window I'm playing, and then obviously great play there from the Mike backer. Okay, so now, next example we are going to be talking about here is this, this coverage. What I want to talk to you guys about is when you have two different plays on each side, what play do we decide to go with? So I'm going to tell you guys right now, let's say this is cover 6. Okay, so this is going to be cover 6. So this side of the field is cover 4. This side of the field is cover 2. So the play concept that we have, cover 2, obviously the corners are sitting in the flats, safety has the deep half. I feel like that's an easy read just based on, I mean, the ball is on the left hash, so it's kind of more common to see this type of look from a safety. But after the play, you guys can't tell this, but when we play the play full speed, you're going to see how this guy jumps the flats. But anyways, cover 2, where he's taking deep half, he's taking flats, and then cover 4, where the field is broken up into quarters, and then this is that flat defender right here. So if I have this play concept, cover 6, like I said, and I have a double slant on the top, and then I have slant bubble on the bottom of the screen, which side of the field should we look to as a quarterback? So you have double slant, slant bubble. This is a cover 4 side. This is the cover 2 side of cover 6. So you guys can go ahead and pause the video and think about what you would do. So you can pause the video. Okay, let's break this thing down. If you guys said that you would go to the double slant side, you would be 100% correct. Now, here's why, and this is a pretty simple reason as to why. They do end up running bubble slant here, but it's kind of out of an RPO, but I want you guys to see what happens when I play at full speed. See how the corner jumps the bubble, and then this linebacker sits right in that slant window. So we pretty much essentially don't have anything, right? Because in this formation, this is the Mike, right? You got the Will, you got the Mike, and you got the Sam. When it's covered 2, the Will is in charge of this hook to curl zone. Corner's in charge of the flats. So that takes away the bubble, but the hook to curl also takes away the slant. So if we go double slant at the top of the screen, chances are that Sam will run with this inside slant, and then we have the outside slant with pretty much just a one-on-one matchup. Now, if the Sam stays home and we have that inside slant, just make sure the inside slant stays skinny, stays away from the mic, and we have that. But it's a much easier read when we have that double slant concept. Now, do we like double slant against cover 2? I think so as well. I think if we have double slant over here, I think we could have it. It's just same thing. This would be my read key defender. If it was cover 2 across the board, I would still go to that double slant side. But we're working like it's a cover 6 situation just because I wanted you guys to understand that. So if you guys said double slant, that would be 100% correct. I'm going to play this again full speed just so you guys see that bubble slant at the bottom of the screen. And then if it was an RPO, that's a great decision to hand the ball off. All right, fellas, really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. Always appreciate the feedback. It's always great to hear from you guys. And again, fellas, if you would like to come out to one of our 15 off-season training camps this year, coming out to 15 different cities across the country, check out that very first link in the description below. I'll see you guys next time.